Alright, hey, so I've been, can't find what page it's on. Oh, there it is. I've been meaning to do this video for a while. I mentioned it in ABC's of Death and fuck all. Anyway, so yeah, this one's, about VHS. Been meaning to get to VHS 2. And I look like I don't have any eyebrows because I just came out the shower. Sweet. Alright, so VHS, very simple, is bunch of VHS tapes. Well, no. The central story, but tying in all four segments, is that this what is it? This guy breaks into a house to steal a tape. That's, I'm writing it down. Yeah. So it's what it is, and then there's like some fat old guy, like all Seven style, just like pass the fuck out on a chair. Somehow they're fine. I guess if you're fine with going into a house and stealing something, I think you're fine just sitting there with a passed out old fat guy behind you, sleeping, while you randomly pop in these tapes to see if it's the correct one. I kind of, in between the segments, I kind of got slightly lost on, it sounds stupid, but like, kind of who was who, because you know, being burglars and all that shit, they all pretty much had the same clothing kind of thing, you know, the hoodie, the hat kind of shit, and they all kind of sounded the same. Then again, as I've said many times, this is found footage, so it's quite boring, so I probably also mentally drifted away. Yeah, so they go through all the tapes, yada yada, and while it's like, you know, like my computer screen's right here, so it's like if that's the TV, I pop the camera there to record me watching this. In between, like, every segment, you'll just see the guy go like, huh? Like, you know, it'll be like, you know, white noise, and the guy will be like, huh? What? Huh? And you'll hear the sound of like a tape. And then like, you'll hear it, and then it'll go into another segment. Fine, alright, yada yada. Yeah. So the first segment is a bunch of guys. They're wanting to like pick up a girl at a bar, or like pick up not a girl. Like, they're guys. They're gonna go pick up chicks at a bar, and one of them is like, they're like, oh, let's give it to the really geeky one. There's a camera in the glasses and shit. So that's that plot line, is that because there's a camera in her, all that stuff. Whatever funky technology they have where the dude doesn't need to carry around a backpack, you know, because he has the glasses, and maybe it's something maybe it's like recording wirelessly on his phone or something. I don't know, kids today and their technology and their Bjork, you know. So, there's that. It's literally like, I have this tiny little short paragraph right here that explains the first one. Like, seriously, what it is that they go into this hotel room, and they're all, like, they're making out with these girls, yada yada, and then, like, there's a weird, kind of squirmy, really quiet one, like, the kid with the glasses, like, picks her up, and she's just kind of like, I like you, and the guy's like, I like you too, yeah, I like you, like that, and it's like, I'm watching it like, ugh, I feel uncomfortable. I'm like, ugh. So the one, like, it's a hotel room, it's 2 beds. One guy's just making out the fuck with this girl on one bed. So then the nerdy kid is just kind of like, alright, so, like, just decides, alright, let's take this girl's clothes off. Of course, I've said this a bunch of times, like, it's like I'm desensitized to nudity at the same time. Not that I'm bothered by it, but I'm just kind of like, and there's nudity. You know, it's probably because I went to art. I probably said this a bunch of times. Probably because I went to art school, yada yada. Seeing naked bodies is not a big deal. After a while, you're like, I know what the person looks like. I can kind of guess what it looks like. It's one of those, like, yeah, it leaves to imagination. At the same time, it's like, I don't care. Like, for me, I don't care. Like, I understand, like, it's a scene that they're gonna have sex, so yeah, they're gonna take off their clothes. It doesn't make me hate this, you know? Anyway, just stuff like that, like, it happens a couple times here where, it's like, people get naked. I'm just kind of like, alright, you know, at least it's not like some you know, like some horror films where they're like, oh my god, there's a killer, boobs. So you're like, what? Where the fuck did that come from? At least it makes sense within this storyline. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, ow, my head. So, the girl weird and all that stuff, and the one chick that the guy was making out with, she passes out from being drunk and shit. So the guy was like, yeah, let's do a threesome. I'm like, you're really comfortable with your bro to do that. Anyway, so that happens, they're doing it, and the girl is like not having it with the other guy. She likes the nerdy kid. So, yada yada, all of a sudden, well, anyway, she freaks the fuck out. Shit starts going everywhere. The nerdy kid, like, gets scared. He goes and he hides in the bathroom. Before he completely hides, like, closes the door in the bathroom, you see her, like, leap and, like, bite and gnaw at people. And you're like, the fuck? I think there was, like, a third friend. Anyway. So just shit goes real. And, like, the kid's in the bathroom, like, oh my god, he's, like, freaking out. Then the more bro-y bro, he comes in the bathroom fully naked. You see his everything. You're like, hey, that's what all things look like. Like, you didn't see the girls' everything. Ugh. Why does that taste like egg salad? Ugh. So, he's naked, he's like, dude, he's like holding the door like, oh my god, dude, just screaming. Alright, cops. Just screaming his fucking head off, and he's just like, oh, and the guy's like, I don't know, man. Anyway, so the guy, like, you know, the naked dude dies, yada yada, because he gets, like, eaten by the girl, yada yada. So then, nerdy guy, you see him via camera angle that he is, you know, crawling, like, from the bathroom, he's crawling away, he sees that the girl's like, he's crawling away, like, you know, grabbing his shit, and he just crawls out of the motel room, blah, 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 and then he's just like, sweet, you know, and then, I think, mind you, I actually did watch this movie some time ago, wrote down these notes and just haven't filmed this. Anyway, so the girl, like, catches up with him on the stairs or something, and she kind of is like, you know, I like you, and he's like, oh god, and so she goes to, like, give him head, and because he's frightened, he obviously can't get hard, because he just saw this girl just bite the shit out, like, flesh, then she's gonna put her mouth on your hoo-hoo, and it's like, what? Anyway, you see her head go down, and then she comes back up and looks you in the eye, and she goes, no, like, pretty much being like, do I not satisfy you, not make you happy? And the guy's like, no, it's okay, I'm just, and she freaks out, he's like, you know, just freaks out. He runs out in, like, it's like the parking lot area, she runs away, all of a sudden you hear, ah, like that, and you're like, what the fuck was that? All of a sudden, you see, because, you know, he has the glasses on, he gets flown up into the air, and you know, and then, like, the girl turns into a fucking pterodactyl thingamaffucker. She has fucking wings, and she's flapping to fucking a what? You know, and then you just hear him screaming, and you hear the wind from, you know, them flying, and then, like, the glasses fall, and just, like, in the middle of, like, a street somewhere, and you kind of hear him in the distance, like, screaming, in the distance, you can kind of hear the flapping of the wings, and then it ends. That one I did like how it ended, because it definitely was a big what the fuck. You just thought she was just a weird psycho chick. You thought she was just gonna, like, bite everyone's face and just kill everyone, like the end of Paranormal Activity, like how she's just like, I'm done, end scene, you know. But instead she can fly and she's a gargoyle or something. I don't know. So there was that. The second one, okay, the second one is, like I just wrote, very boring. Just simply wrote very boring. And all it is seriously just a couple on a road trip, and they're just filming themselves on a road trip. It's just, it goes on for way too long. The previous segment actually went by pretty quickly, because shit was happening in every moment, you know? It goes from being like, yeah, put these glasses on, yeah, go to this bar, yeah, beat the chick, blah, blah, blah. Like, things are happening. But of course, this one, they're trying to do the whole building of suspense, but instead you're bored, and you're fuck bored. And it's supposed to, like, here and there, it's supposed to, like, kind of give you weird hints of, like, you know, like, clues and whatever. They're like, all of a sudden it's like, hey, honey, did you take $20 out of my wallet? And they're like, and it'll be like, no, I didn't. I was sleeping. Like, why? Why did I take money out of your wallet? I got money of my own. And blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's like stuff like that. Or it'll be like, yeah, there's that weird girl, and she wants, like, for us to give her a ride, but she just, or like, she just knocked on our door. What the fuck? That's so weird. Things are kind of weird. We're not from this part of the country, like, from the States, and this is kind of weird. I'm just not used to the weird. It's just it's a lot of that happening. You know, it's just a lot of like, yeah, we get it. You're road tripping, so there's parts of the States you haven't been to, and they're oddly enough weird because you're in America. Oh yeah. So at one point, like, the couple is asleep, but the camera comes on, and it just kind of shows them, like, you see, like, oddly enough, they got, like, 2 separate beds, and they're like, no, let me just sleep separately, let me just, I don't feel like it, you know, and, like, a couple times they're like, you can come over my bed, but they're like, just give me some space. So you see, like, the guy sleeping, and then it, like, would pan over to the girl, and then it would be, like, the girl sleeping, but then it would be, like, a hand, and you can't tell if it's a guy or a girl hand, and it's like touching her, and you're like, oh, what's going on, right? So you're kind of like, yeah. So it happens like 1 or 2 times. So at one point, it happens again, but this time the guy gets stabbed in his sleep, just, and he's like, you know, all that stuff, and you're like, oh, the fuck. What the fuck, you know? And it's also like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna commit a crime like that, yeah, if you wanted to use the camera's light to light your way to kill this person, I wouldn't hit the record button, you know, but that's just me. And this is another thing where, like, you see what camera this chick has, in the mirror, and it's just like what I have and what a lot of cameras are nowadays are these HD cameras, yada yada. And they all take, you know, SD cards. There's a part where it's like, it kind of pulled a Cloverfield thing where it'll be like, scenes of murder and stuff, and then, oh no, driving away scenes of, like, it's kind of like footage overlapping. And that doesn't happen when it's on an SD card. That happens on tape. I understand this movie is called VHS, but again, they're not doing it right because you're calling it VHS. You don't film it on VHS. You're filming on obvious digital stuff. You got glasses cameras. Those are obvious digital. Then you got those HD, like, fucking, you know, whatever camera. It's obvious digital. It's just, the main concept already is, like, annoying me, but yeah, so there's that, and then there's like, did you erase the footage kind of thing, and it's like, turns out the girl who wanted the ride was in on it with the girlfriend, because they freaking stabbed the guy, and then it's like footage of them, like, there's a mirror, and then this is like my hands holding the camera, it's footage of her and the other girl, like, making out, and I'm like, again, why have you hit record on this, you know? Then it's like, of course, them escaping and be like, did you try to erase the footage? Yeah, you erased it, kind of thing. And it's like, you know? Yeah, so that ends, and how I described it was a lot faster, but it took so long, because of course you have to see them, like, traveling to random spots. Hey, they're at the Grand Canyon. Ooh, this is a nice spot. Ooh, this is kind of odd. Hey, let's buy this tchotchke. Look at that. And you're just kind of like, you know, which is kind of funny, which I think it might have been part of the concept, where you kind of watch it, you're, I hope someone dies, and then you're like, oh shit, someone dies. I don't know. Yeah, so then the main guy was just like, he was really fucking confused on what happened. Still searching for the tape. And the last 2, I just wrote, like, really little things, because something really wanted to say about it. Oh. So then there's this one, it's a guy and a girl, they're Skyping, and then, again, VHS, you know, but they're Skyping. It's like, so yeah, so it's that, and like the girl is like, oh, like, it's a long distance relationship, so I think like one person's in California, the other one's in Michigan. Like they had stated that they really live like quite far apart from one another. Yada yada. So then, like they'll be talking, and the guy's like, okay, pull down, boobies, and the guy's like, yeah, and I'm like, on my screen, and it's like full screen. I was like, titties. I think I actually said that. I was like sitting here, I just went, titties. Because I think I started to drift away again, because I'm just like, oh god, it's like Paranormal Activity 4, Skype conversations, and I was like, titties, you know. Anyways, so the girl said, like, the girl had like a weird past, shit had happened to her, and then she's not feeling fine. The boyfriend, I think the boyfriend is a doctor or something, whatever. And he goes, no, you're fine. And she's like looking at her arm, and she's like, yeah, I think there's something underneath my arm. And she keeps like rubbing it, like, something in my arm. Like, she's just like so annoyed. There's something, she feels like something's in her arm. The guy's like, chill. Like, you're probably just freaking out because you're just like reliving a past memory for no reason, just because you felt like it, kind of thing. So this happens, and yada yada. So then, she said that she's like hearing a noise outside her room. So she lives in like a little apartment thing, and the boyfriend's like, just don't go out there. Like, if it's someone like blah blah. This entire thing takes place via Skype. This is the found footage, is the Skype conversation. So yada yada, and then the girl, I think she's a photographer, because she had like, what, a big ass fuck camera, and she was just snapping away, you know, for the flash, and then you would see, like, she's like, oh, like, help me look, so it's like, she's holding the laptop in one hand, you know, like, looking out, and then she has like a big fuck off camera in the other one, she'll snap pictures, and you see it's like, it's dark, but then obviously in the corner, you see the boyfriend like, this is interesting. And then, you know, it'll flash, and it'll go, like, at 1.0, and it's the predictable, like, you know something's gonna happen. So it'll flash, and it'll be, like, a little kid with, like, white face on. Like, you're like, what the fuck is that? And then you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, because she'll be scared, so she'll have her eyes closed, but she's walking and doing that. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so the next day, she's just, like, it's like this continuous thing, and then they're talking the next day, and then she's like, something in my skin, and then it's like, she exponentially gets worse and worse, and in a sense, crazier and crazier. Flash to this one day, they're talking, and she seriously got, like, something and dug it inside her skin. That was a good makeup effect, I have to say. So was, like, that weird pterodactyl girl, because you actually saw some makeup effects on, like, you know, that kind of shit. It was actually done really well. Anyway, so she takes, like, a little blade or something, she's, like, sticks under her arm, and she keeps, like, digging in, and she's like, yeah, there's, like, something there, I can't see, and calm as fuck, yeah, and you see her, like, she's not, like, bleeding, but, you know, obviously there's blood, because you stuck your fucking skin, and she's, like, under there, she's probably, like, within, like, the, like, probably like the third or fourth layer of skin, just kind of like, alright, like, just kind of like going in there, digging in, like, but there's something there, I'm so confused. And the boyfriend's like, don't do that, stop it, blah, blah. So then, like, that night was, like, the big freak out night, and yada yada, and then, like, those weird kids come out again and attack her, more like frighten her, and she fell down. Anyway, the boyfriend, who you thought this whole time, you know, lived across country, he was, like, in the same apartment complex, because then all of a sudden he goes, oh, and he, like, leaves the little screen, and then he shows up on her side of Skype, and then, you know, I think she's probably, like, she's dead, and then you see the two, like, weird white-faced kids, and the guy was like, god damn it, you did it again. Turns out these kids are aliens. Turns out he was plotting to get her abducted or something. Like, she's a test thingy. You know, you hear him say to the little alien children, like, I can't believe you did that. Why did you put the tracker so close to the top of the skin? That's what, you know, you had her freaking out. She shouldn't even know that I'm here. She thinks I'm still in Michigan or whatever. And it's just, like, this obvious, like, exposition dialogue and stuff. And it was like, he also said something before the footage clicked off with something along the lines of like it was something like whatchamacallit, like you almost killed her just like the last one or something. Like some shit like that. Anyway, cut to like the next day or something. Different girl. Randomly different girl. Pretty much the same conversation. Blah, 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 honey, I miss you, blah, blah, titties. And then something, I feel something in my arm. And you're just like, damn. Like that one, I think because it happened after the fucking long-ass road trip one, I was like, yay, because something was constantly happening, you know? I'm fine with slow build-ups and stuff. When there is a good oh god! Jesus, the aliens are after me. As I was about to say, if there's a good payoff, and then that goes off. Like, my god. Anyway. I'm fine with slow build-ups if it's a good payoff. But it has to be, like, a good enough payoff where it's long enough where it, like, keeps you in. Again, it's not like Paranormal Activity with those shits where it just pulls and just drags on and pads out the movie and it ends like that and then you're done. And you're like, what? That's bad. Anyway. So the last one I actually kind of enjoyed. The last one is these guys are going to a costume party and yada yada. He's like, oh, dude, what are you supposed to be? He's like, a nanny cam. I was like, okay, I get it. That's that plot. That's how the footage gets caught, yada yada. Fine. So they're like, oh, the address to the party is this. Of course it's wrong, and of course they switched the numbers or something. So they go in the house, they're like, oh man, and you see like, it's like alcohol, whatever shit. You're like, okay, yeah, it's, oh, this party's going crazy. Oh, what's that noise? Where is everyone? Yada yada. They go all the way upstairs, and it's like this fucking cult, worship blue oysters. It's like this cult, and they're, gonna sacrifice this like teenage girl, and you're like, oh shit, that's not cool. So the guys like help her and free her and all that stuff. And the guys in the cult are like, no, she's the devil, we must send her back, and all that crazy. I shouldn't be screaming that loud, it's pretty late. Yeah. Anyway, so it's like, oh, she is the devil, blah blah blah. I kind of sound like James Mason there. I sound like God. So, yeah, they try to help her, and then because weird cult stuff and the girl's kind of weird and has powers, they start getting, like, sucked into the walls kind of thing. Kind of like the apparition. Like, they just start getting... Blah. Those are pretty cool effects. Especially because, like, it was, like, shaky cam and stuff. Because the guy was, like, freaking out, like, and running away. And it was good because it's like, when they did the effects, they did the tracking pretty well. Because it wasn't like, oh, wow, that's a poor effect. Anyway, so sad. They're like, it kind of goes on for a little bit, but it's pretty much like they kind of rescue the girl. They put her in their car, and they're just kind of like, you're gonna be okay. We're gonna go get help. We're gonna go get help. So like, dude, drive. Move, go, kind of thing. So when they were first arriving towards like the house, there was like a quick shot where they're at like a railroad crossing. You just see like I was supposed to say a cab. What is wrong with me? You see like a train pass by, and they're just kind of like there, like at the stop, and then they go. And then they bring it back by them. The car just stopping in the middle of the tracks because the girl is the fucking devil, and she gives them, oh my boo bitches, excuse me, and she gives them hell, literally, because then they're like, what the fuck, and she's like, ah, and she like disappears, and like, ah, and all freaked out face. So the guys are freaking out, they're like, oh my god, I can't open the doors, jerking two guys off at once, like, I can't open the doors, oh my god, all that shit. And of course, like, the train, end of thingy. Yeah. That one wasn't so bad. yeah, then the story tying it in, they were just like really like they're very weirded out with the house that they're going into to steal the tapes. They just find these duffel bags and just start filling it with tapes, and none of the tapes are marked, so it's just one of those like, oh my god. Weird noises. Great. Really have to stop doing these kind of reviews this late at night, because so yeah, I have to say the one I enjoyed the most was probably, it's a tie between the first segment and the last segment. I probably have to say that the nanny cam was a little bit better, mainly because there wasn't, mainly for mainly for there's not like nudity in there. Also, they kind of got through it. They got through it quick. At the same time, you know, you kind of get annoyed because it's a lot of like, bro, dudes, like that kind of speak. Same thing with the first segment, but again, they got to their point really quickly, and you kind of understood what was going on. So all that is was just, you were just watching them freak out. Fine. I feel like in a kind of found footage thing, it's better that way. Yeah, I just couldn't deal with that couple's, like, road trip thingy, because it just went on for way too long. I think it was probably one of the longest segments, or it just felt like it. The alien thing just kind of made you go, you had one of those, like, aliens kind of moments, you know, you're just like, I guess. You know, like, it made you go, oh, because you see that, like, okay, he was lying the whole time, and obviously, those aren't just ghosts or alien, like, okay, yeah. Again, you're calling it VHS, nothing is shot on video, everything's shot digitally, why are you calling it VHS? You know, like, you have these things on tape, but they're obvious digital, yeah. Just, you know, as much as I had issues with freaking, you know, ABCs of Death, it wasn't called, like, ABCs of VHS. Oh my god, how many... That would be ridiculous if you called it ABCs of VHS. Oh my god. No. Because... That's... Anyway. Anyway, but yeah, that was VHS. That was special. Let's see how VHS 2 pans out. See you later.